Hey everybody, what is up? Good morning. Happy Tuesday morning. And Bev, it's the morning coffee pod with BF and Stormee. All right. Hope you're doing okay so far. All right. We're coming to you hopefully on the Facebook TGB and Sportshead podcast group page, on my YouTube page, the Armchair Comic page, and it should be out there on Twitter. So I got 3 sources out there for you this morning. We hope you're all doing great so far. As Frankie McDonald says, morning coffee pod with BF and Stormee. We got a lot of pods we're going to talk about today. We hope you're having a good day so far. Let's start out. Talk about the weather a little bit. That's what we like to do. We get together with coffee. Let's see. Show the forecasted temperatures going on today. It's a little chilly where I'm at. It's a little dreary and chilly here on the East Coast where I'm at. It's about like mid-30s, mid-40s. You can see most of the country's kind of cold. Got that little warm pocket kind of going on right here. But give you a chance to check out the weather where you're at. Wherever you're joining us from. Let's see. All right. And let's see if we got some comments going on already. Let's see what's going on. Not quite yet. All right. There we go. All right. Well, I'll see 2 of you checking in. Thanks for checking in. Get the show rolling. This is Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee. All right. So I'm looking forward to the podcast day. They had a great day of shows. Shout out to our boy Shuley. Billy Shuley. And here's what's going on today as we start the podcast day. Let's see. Right here. All right, so today's Tuesday. So here's Shuley's schedule. Shout out Shuley Egar. The BS show live on YouTube at 11 a.m. this morning. So following this show, after the show to be something going on. And then tonight, of course, you have the Levy Land live at 7 on YouTube. And the Miserable Men live on Patreon if you're a Patreon subscriber. And I'll throw in there that tonight I will also be on the Rob Saul Show at 8:30. 8:30 with Chris Abels and Doug Nelson and maybe Zen if he's not busy. And so check us out there. So this morning and this evening, we got you covered. There's a lot of podcasts going on for your enjoyment. I love the fact that there's stuff to watch in the morning because there's not always great options at every hour of the day. But the fact that you can watch these guys, and boy, they had a fun show yesterday. I was just watching the end of it when they had the Blink people. Oh my goodness, hilarious! Where he was on the radio show and he's essentially arguing with himself. So that was so comical, and the controversy that maybe Lenny, maybe Bob. Hey, shout out to the 4 people watching. Thanks for joining us for the morning coffee pod. Yeah, so Bob is obviously irritated with Lenny. He's not very happy with Lenny again. So let's see. Checking. Who's checking? Hey, Brian. Hey, checking in. What's up, Brian? Thanks for joining us again on the morning coffee pod. Everybody's starting to jump in now. But yeah, so Bob is obviously irritated with Lenny again. He said he brings nothing to the show, and he kind of done with him. And then I heard Mike Morse talk about, well, maybe we'll make it a segment or not. So we'll have to see how that goes. I know they had a vote. I didn't see the actual tally of the vote, but I think I voted that we have to have Lenny for like at least a half-hour show for a little part of the show because he does bring down the show, but they do make a lot of fun. You make a lot of fun with him. So yeah, the BS show was great yesterday. Let's see. Let's bring in. Let's see. Our friend is here, so let's bring in our co-host and also podcast lover. Let's say hello to Stormee. Hey, Stormee. What's up? Checking in.
How you doing?
Okay, good. And one second, I got to change one of my sound settings. You're not coming through my headphones. Real quick.
Maybe it's me.
No, it's not. I've changed the output of my from my headphones to my speaker so I could hear as I was walking around.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Now I got you. That's my thing. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I had forgot my coffee, so I had to go grab it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I have to admit when I didn't see you backstage when I went live, and it scared me a little bit because we had a conversation yesterday and before the show about confusion. You were talking about how you thought, because yesterday you said it's like 10 o'clock. I said I'm doing 9 p.m. East, and I know you're always like an hour behind me, but you said 10, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. And then you contacted me this morning and said, oh, wait a minute, it's actually an hour earlier.
Yes, everybody being in different time zones got me confused last night.
Yes, it does. And when you overthink it, sometimes you do the math twice or something. Yeah, so let's see who we got here. We got a morning from a Facebook user. Well, shout out Facebook user. Good morning. Let's see, we got another one popping in. Everybody's starting to join in. See what's up. Good morning. Decided to check out your morning show. Well, I thank you. Good morning. Yes. This is a new thing we do. We jump on and we're going to talk about all our favorite pods. And if you can see behind us, I'll remove like kind of both of us real quick. And then you can see the cool background that Stormee made, and she's using it as her back thing. She has, these are all the podcasts that are in our universe that we love and we love to talk about. And so, Stormee, I was talking about, I saw the Pete DiLorenzo episode yesterday where he was on the radio show, and he basically essentially called in and argued with himself.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
That was hilarious. They was actually arguing with himself. I just got done watching that. So what do you think about all the Lenny controversy on there?
I don't know what to think about it, really. I think that he'll be back.
You think he'll be back? Now, do you like a lot of Lenny? Do you like a little Lenny? Do you think he brings the show down? What do you think about that?
He might bring the show down, but it kind of entertains me. Everybody else's reactions is what entertains me to him.
Right, exactly. It's kind of, and it's like a lot what we talk about with the Uncle Rico show and even the BS show with this Pete DiLorenzo. These guys can just take a topic. That's because we love these guys. We do favor Shuli and Levy, and they can make anything funny. Like I was watching the Pete DiLorenzo thing, and I'm like they wouldn't even need Stutter and John. All they need is a topic to go on, and the riffing is where all the fun is.
Yeah, and it can stem up from nothing.
Right, from absolutely nothing, from one little thing that they start giggling at, and it'll just carry on. It can make a half hour of content. So before you came on, I put up the schedule for today. Here's today's schedule: the BS show, 11 this morning, and then tonight they're doing the Levy Land at 7 on YouTube. That's free, and then the Miserable Men on live on Patreon if you're a Patreon subscriber. And then I also threw in there that I would be doing the Rob Saul show at 8:30 tonight. So, yep,
awesome.
Lots of podcasts to do and cover. So let's see. All right.
I usually use Tuesday as like my house cleaning day.
Yeah.
I put my headphones on and I can do whatever while I'm listening to all these podcasts.
Well, yeah, you have to. You have to, like, if you're into this podcast and you see all these pods that we have behind us, like Steel Toe, whatever, you have to have pods in your ear all the time. We talked about it before, how I constantly have to do this to my family. Like, what? Hello, what? And
or I'll have one ear out like this.
Yeah. If they are lucky, right? if you care enough, yeah. But yeah. So that's always a thing. As always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think I don't know if I mentioned this. Wired. I see that I might be having some buffering. So if I have buffering issues, I apologize, but I have a hardwired connection now, so I'm trying to alleviate these technical difficulties. Nothing goes better with morning coffee, accidentally touching your cat's asshole, and then itching your nose. What in the hell kind of morning are you having, Brian? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, jeez. That's nasty.
How do you actually touch your cat's asshole anyway?
That's a good point. How do you, it's kind of, I hope you were like swatting it away, but wasn't petting it there. Well, I have my morning coffee. I hope everybody else has theirs.
Yeah.
Got some coffee, and we'll have some coffee and we'll talk. No big whoop. No big whoop. All right. Get the screen off of here, out of my face. Boom. Let's see. All right.
Oh, he was moving the cat off the bed so he could make the bed. I guess that could happen.
Sure. Get my Mark Manager here. Okay. All right. So now, I guess the talk is, you noticed last week that Shuli's kind of quietly changed the name of the Shuli Show to the Shuli Network, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
Shuli Show pages on Patreon.
Capture that and put it in the background here.
All right. Yeah. So you can see Shuli actually, he does have quite a network going over there, and we already started talking about some of the shows, and yeah, it practically is a network.
Yeah.
He probably should have done that a while ago. Let's see.
Yeah, I keep hearing him in like little side comments to different people they talk about coming onto the Shuli network too. I think the last one I heard was Cardiff Electric, the potato.
Yeah, like every time you catch the end of a show, he's talking about who he would like to have on. So here's the if you don't have the Patreon, there's a lot of content over here on YouTube. The Shuli Network now. It used to be called the Shuli Show, but now and it is the Shuli Network. But so you can see the miserable men over there, all the Uncle Ricos, all the blunder years. I'll load this up. There they are, and Men Are Talking right there. There's the Men Are Talking episode. BS shows, so great content morning, noon, and night. Go check out our friend Shuli Agar, the Shuli Network now. You can catch him 11 o'clock doing the BS show. Did you see Bob got his new haircut? You see that fresh new haircut? How'd you like that?
I didn't see his haircut. I don't guess. Was it on a show? Maybe I missed it.
Oh, he was talking yesterday how he left between the shows yesterday. Yeah, he had to get his haircut, so he had there was a picture out there on Twitter of him getting his fresh hairdo.
Oh, I guess I didn't see the picture yet. I'll have to see.
Let's see. There, Brian says he was moving off the bed. Okay. Let's see. Jasmine.
Oh,
that was my bad. Good morning, guys. Hey, Jasmine, what's up? That was you on the Facebook.
Yep.
Good morning. Let's see. Hey, how you doing? All right, well, good morning, everybody. Say that again.
She's got kids, so I know she's up early for sure. Gotta get the kids ready.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right. They basically don't give you no other choice, right?
Nope. Even if they're staying up late, still got to get up early, especially if you have more than one kid.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Jasmine. Shout out everybody, family. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right. So like I mentioned, you can catch me 8:30 tonight on the Rob Saul Show. Shout out Rob Saul and all the guys over there. We're having a lot of fun. That'll be 8:30 tonight after Levy Land, which comes on at 7.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good recently with the show. All you guys are. It feels like the energy's picking up, and it's really, really good.
Yeah, it is. I had a lot of fun last week. I noticed at the end that Rob and Doug were having that conversation, and when Doug does that character Stanley, that just cracks me and everybody up. And
Funny.
So I was cracking up and dropping sounds and making them laugh on my sound. So that's a lot of fun, and that's what I'm looking to do. Kind of looking for places just to kind of mess with the show and have fun with it. So that is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. Let's see. Got my notes here. Yeah, let's talk about. Did you happen to see the Uncle Rico last week where they were talking about Stuttering John staying at a hotel room and he was talking about lice? So
yeah.
They had the one with the lice, and he had to basically go to hotel management and say that he had lice. I was like, that was my takeaway from that blunder year. That was like last week.
He blamed it on his son laying his head on his arm.
Yeah, that you would be horrified to even mention it. And then they kind of banished him and basically told him he had to leave because he had lice. He wasn't welcome anywhere. They like wanted, now you just eat in your room. You can eat elsewhere. We don't want you around us. I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
So that's just an example of John has no filter. He don't have no sense of when not to say something. And he goes and tells everybody that he has lice, thinking that they're going to believe that it's the hotel when really he's like the only person in the hotel having this problem, apparently. So that just gives you a little idea of how oblivious John is about things.
Oh yeah.
Let's
And I
see.
don't know. I know he had long hair back in the day. So I don't know if that's when it happened or if it was when he had shorter hair. I don't
Yeah,
know,
I'm not
but
sure.
either way, I just can't imagine getting head lice on my arm from my son and it's spreading that bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
It's just
I'm just looking at
something
my notes.
so bizarre to me, but
Hmm.
definitely was interesting.
Right, and that's the whole thing. So here they're going back, they're digging into Stuttering John's old interviews, and they're just mining this what it's gold for them because he's just so oblivious. He's just so easy to like mock and make fun of.
Yeah, and he brings it up in the interview. It's not just a fun fact they know. It's just something he decided to bring up and talk about again.
Yeah, like once again, it goes to the fact that he has no filter. All right, so it occurs to me as I wake up every day and you watch the news. It's like today is national this, and today is national that day. And I said, boy, it's a national holiday. So I did a little research and I found out that there is actually something called the National Day Calendar. And so this organization, this guy puts together this calendar, and this is where, so if, when you hear it's all these like donut day and pizza day, this is where they do it. Figure it's part of the show when we're on, we'll feature what today's national day is. So let's say, did anyone know that today is the International Mentoring Day? I didn't know that. How about it's National Classy Day? National
No.
Classy Day. Or National Bootleggers Day. I didn't know we needed a National Bootleggers Day.
Uh-uh.
How about that? Hot
That's
buttered
funny.
rum day.
Huh. That's
Hmm.
funny.
So what do you think of that? Does it like me? Does it occur to you that like it seems like every other day I'm on Twitter, it's National something or another day.
Yeah, I never really noticed it until you brought it up the other day, but then I got to thinking about it. There is some weird stuff on my kids' school calendar when they bring it home, like chocolate milk day and like they have ice national ice cream day, but they celebrate those things through the school. And I got to thinking that's got to be part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where it's all inspired, and then people like schools or something probably get carried away with it and just kind of personalize it and do their own thing with it. But yeah, I'm like,
Hmm.
and then as you see it, because like, you figure they would be like, these were such great, wonderful holidays, it would be like one a day. But as you can see, I pointed out four of them. So as we go through, we're going to do, as we do the show, we're going to point out these national holidays as we do the show. So I thought that was a interesting little thing.
I think that is
Mm,
interesting. Definitely.
let's see. Yeah, and so our boy Chris Abels, he was on the road last week. He did so they showed a rerun. Was there something? Did something go funny with that? I thought somebody said that something happened to the one that they tried to run with the live chat. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, well, we were on the Sports Heads live, and I was using my phone to go click over and see what was going on. It was live for, I don't know, a few minutes. When I clicked over, I could see people in a chat, and I seen his producer Sean in the chat, and then I clicked off, was paying attention to the Sports Heads, and then clicked back over to double check because I seen your sister Kathy had commented, and it was taken down. And I'm not exactly sure why because I didn't hear from Chris himself, but apparently there was some animals getting busy from from what I heard.
Oh my goodness. Chris with animal fornication on his show. Shout out to our boy Chris Abels. Looked like from Facebook that he had a great weekend on the road. He sounded like his comedy gigs, his charity gigs went real good. So shout out to our boy Chris. You might be watching quietly this morning. If you are, bro, hope you had a good here. Check him out. Uh, I'm Okay. That subscribe button, please. If you would, share that for him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm breaking up, Stormee. Am I having issues on your end?
A little bit. I can understand you, but it just breaks up a little bit throughout it. I can
Wow.
understand what
Wow.
it's just I think it's StreamYard. I don't think it's internet because I've done everything that I can do too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have an Ethernet wire going in here, so I'm hardwired, so it's not a interference. And yeah, I see other shows having problems, but I'd like to get to the bottom of it one day. So shout out, we appreciate you sticking with us. Check out our boy Chris Abels on Replayables every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. 9 p.m. Eastern. All right.
Used to have it this Friday for sure.
I'm not 100% sure yet. A lot of times the information on the show doesn't come out until later on in the week, but I didn't hear no reason to say that he wouldn't be. So
I'm sure he'll announce it tonight on the Rob Saul show, if nothing else, or on Levy Land.
yeah, maybe. Yep. As our week of podcasting gets started, yeah. Let's see. Another guy we talk. Shout out to my co-host and host of Men Are Talking, Anthony Zenhauser. Like you said, they're starting to put some of these shows on the Shuli network now because Shuli is looking for worthy content, and that certainly counts as worthy content. I thought they had a really great show. The first show they did on the Shuli network. I think they're getting ready to do another one. So
Yeah.
Men Are Talking. We said we were going to talk about that. What do you think about that show? I said I was going to ask you as a female what your thoughts were about that show. I don't know. We hear.
So, not the humor. Some people would get a humor in some of the stuff that they say, and I don't think every completely, but I mean, there is some strength they talk to. I mean, there is some good point. There is some tips that people could weigh, but some of it I feel like is common sense. Like, I don't realize that these are things people really struggle with, I guess, but maybe I have a different mindset than most women. Now I'm starting to wonder. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what's funny. So whether you agree with the topic or how they do it, like you said, it creates awareness about what's going on out there as far as these gender bending roles out there. But I
Yeah,
was just
it
wondering
takes a
because they say it's like an advice show for women. They're giving women advice about how to be better women. And I don't know if I don't know if women are going to take that as 100% advice, but it certainly is funny, and it certainly does shine a light on some of the craziness and the hypocrisy in
Mm-hmm.
gender roles and expectations.
Yeah,
See,
and I
we
don't
have
like
a
to
comment
point out
here.
anybody particularly, but some points they make, I kind of think that I know some men that do some of the things that they point out. Some I'm like,
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Jerry? Yeah. Well, they make some good points. I mean, a lot of people make fun of the fact that people think that it's old fashioned to have like the stay home mother and but they talk about those days and how that
mhm,
certain part of our genders do have certain roles in society and our families' lives. Sometimes they do
yeah.
make good points about that.
Oh,
Wow. I'm not sure if I'm frozen or if she's frozen, but we're going to stick with it. Usually me when the other person is frozen. Wow. All right. Let's see. All right, y'all. I'm not sure what you're seeing, but it's your boy BF. I'm still here audibly. Having problems with our connection, even with the Ethernet here on this Tuesday morning. This is morning coffee pod with BF and Stormee. Let's see. She says, yeah, Jerry. All right. Oh, and Stormee just dropped out. I think she must be having some lag issues. There's always issues. The weird, like she's having these internet issues. She's always, enhancing her technology and trying. I see she's trying to come back in. Let's see if this fresh connection works. Let's bring back Stormee. How you doing?
Everything just froze, so I just went off and came back in. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that. I was considering doing that myself.
Yeah, I don't know if it's StreamYard or if it's internet. I don't know, but either way, we'll keep moving.
Yep, that's what we got to do. So far, so good. I'm hearing you better.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we were talking about. So you can catch. Got to look out for the next episode of Men Are Talking with our friend Anthony Zenhauser.
I have notes here that it's tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the Shuli Network, right?
Yep, with Pat Dixon.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me of that point. So they made they always throw these announcements in as we're watching podcasts. They don't do no grand announcements. It's like if you don't try to keep up and put an extra ear out there, you might not catch this. So thank you. They said last week, Pat Dixon is going to be an addition to the Men Are Talking. So now it'll be Pat Dixon, Anthony Zenhauser, and Kish Kish Kish, I imagine. So that should be interesting. They can be an interesting trio together. And I know they do other shows together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that. What do you think that Gino Bisconte is going to think of that, this welcoming of Pat Dixon back into the fold? And he's going to be on the Shuli Network now. So is Gino going to have something to say about this?
I feel like it's possible.
What do you think about that? Do you think there?
I think it's possible. I don't know Gino Bisconte's whole thing. I haven't followed him as long as everybody else, but I think that he has to feel some kind of way about it, and I don't foresee it being positive.
That's right. That you can. Oh yeah, you probably must count on that. But yeah, I was starting to put it together. I'm like, wait a minute, Pat Dixon's going to be with Zen again. Okay, so he could have something to say, but then I'm thinking, oh, he's going to feel that, oh, like now Shuli's welcome, and is he going to? He's an issue with if anybody works with or likes Pat Dixon or something because he punched him, then you're persona non grata to Gino. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But it'll be interesting to see how Men Are Talking change with the addition of Pat Dixon. I think he was like their first guest ever on the show. So now that he's going to be a co-host. So you say that's tomorrow at 7 on the Shuli Network, huh?
Yes, it is.
That's cool.
And they have an email. They always advertise that if people, women specifically, want to send in questions, that you can always email them. I think it's menartalkingshow@gmail.com. They always advertise that.
And that's what's funny, right? And you picked up on that too, that they're always, hey, ladies, we have ask us questions. We'll answer your questions for you. And, it's kind of half sarcastic and half serious. Hey, Jerry said, Stormee, welcome to the show. Jerry's always supporting us and in our chats. We appreciate him. Welcome, Shuli fans. Yeah, welcome everybody. Yeah, see, you mentioned to me the other day how Jerry's such a good guy. He lets people know in the chats what we're up to, right?
Yeah, I seen he was shouting us out in the chat in one of the shows, and so I had to tell you about it because I thought that's really awesome that he's already supporting us in other chats.
You gotta love people like that. You gotta love that. People that like you that much that they shout you out. And we didn't even pay him a dime for that. Thank you, Jerry. Pat Dixon is a great addition to Zen Magic. Yeah. Kish. Yeah. It's going to be entertaining. Yes, right, exactly. That's going to be good. I think that could add a new dynamic to that. So check that out tomorrow at 7. He's not doing the kibitz thing, huh?
Mm. Yeah, with
yeah, we can talk about
Kish being on that show. I think that might be more something Gino might talk about than Pat. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he'll have more to say about Kish being on the Shuli Network than Pat Dixon. You never know.
Yeah, he should have never had a problem with Kish. Kish was a big podcast fan, and he ran that Gums Friday Twitter account for him up until the punch, and then Gino went divide and conquer, and no one should have turned on Mr. Kish like that. Shout out to Mr. Kish. We appreciate you, sir. I mean, he ended up changing his handle on Twitter and everything. It was like a full separation, and it's unfortunate because there's no bigger fan or person you want to have on your side podcasting than Mr. Kish. So thank you. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like almost like it's a pylon. It's like, okay, they already have Zen, who he had an issue with. They already have Kish, who he has an issue with. And now you're going to throw Pat Dixon in. Is he going to see this as like legitimizing and like, oh, these are all the guys that are kind of, I put in that category?
Yeah, he just should just worry about himself
Hey, shout
and
out to
be
the
all
7.
about
Me and BF, this
just take care of his own show
that
and worry about himself. Would be the best thing to do.
yeah, that would be a good thing to do. And I try to watch him, and I tire of the COVID stuff all the time. It's the same reason that I stopped listening to Howard Stern, really, because I'm the kind of person I can't take in too much negativity because I'll start dwelling in it. And I don't like to sit through like all the negative talk on Stern, just waiting for them to do a fun out. And the percentages just didn't, it just wasn't worth my time. I wasn't getting the bang for my buck. I still have a
Yeah.
serious subscription, but I really don't tune in. And I'm starting to feel the same way about Gino's, that I want to be a fan of Gino. He's a funny guy when he's funny, but when he goes down that rabbit hole, it's I just don't want to hear it. He's like that drunk guy at the bar. If you sit next to him, you would go, "Oh Christ, this guy, let me move over here because he ain't never going to shut up." It's like sometimes you don't want to hear that.
I think I started really paying attention to him after the whole ordeal with Pat Dixon, so I've only got to hear and see everything after that point, so I've never got to hear about him or watch him or see him, know anything about him prior to that with, whatever he had going on, so everything's always
Yeah.
been chaotic with any information I've ever had with him, so it makes it hard to really follow him very, very much closely.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if there's any kind of backlash or reaction for Pat Dixon from Gino verse for Pat Dixon joining Men Are Talking. We like that show.
It'll be a good show.
It will be. And now you and I about Steel Toe Morning.
Mhm.
What do you think about Steel Toe? I think that's kind of more your time zone, or at least you're like an hour closer or something. So I don't know if you have like a vibe with it or something that I don't. But tell us about Steel Toe. Do you listen to it much?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a morning show and an evening show, and they're sometimes they go a little longer, 2, 3 hours, just depends. Sometimes they'll go 4 hours. I guess they have, like, a goal they meet, but, um, I like it just because it gives you kind of like a backstory on certain, things going on politics-wise sometimes and their point of view about it, but, they also talk about other podcasts and different things like that, but they just have, like, a whole broad spectrum of different things they talk about, so it gives you if you're not into one thing they talk about, it gives you something else later maybe.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about when because Stormy asked me, quite frankly, she said, "Hey BF, do you like watch or listen to Steel Toe?" And I said, "Not a whole lot." I said, "I know that Levy's a big fan of theirs, and I know Gino is a big fan of theirs, and so that's where I first heard about Steel Toe was through those guys, and I don't really listen to them a lot, but I have tried to tune in more. That's what I told Stormy. I said maybe I don't know a whole lot about them, so I've tuned in on other nights, and I joined My Lost Interest in the chat that one night, and I told you we were in the chat having a little fun in the Steel Toe chat. But yeah, they definitely, with the topic thing, they definitely are all over the place. They were trying to do climate, climate change and politics, and they try to run the whole gamut. And there, I guess there's a lot of material there, but it's also expensive when you get into all the stuff. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
they're all over the place. But I was listening the other day, and actually, it was just yesterday morning. I think I sent you this clip. I'm gonna play a clip for you.
Yeah.
I was, and Steel Toe, that's the other thing that's confusing to me is they call it Steel Toe Morning Show, but like you said, you can see it in the morning, you'll see it at night. It could be
Mhm.
a short show, it could be a long show. So, and that's another thing that I'm having a hard time grasping about that show is like where can I find it? I'm not a lot.
Mhm.
The other day they were on, and they were talking about Britney Spears yesterday morning. I caught a little
Mhm.
bit of it before I went and did something, and they were bemoaning. They were talking about TMZ and talking about how they're kind of scoundrels or bad people for going out and like getting these videos of these people and all. And the irony hit me of that. Well, isn't that the exact reason that you're using this Britney video? Kind of thing. So I dropped a comment in on, and then Aaron found my comment and he read it. So I'm gonna let
Mhm.
me load that up and I'll play it for you if the internet cooperates. Let's see.
Mhm.
Go. Hmm. Here we go. Yeah, Aaron picked up on. I got my 2 cents in on this because they're playing the Britney Spears video about how she's like losing it and they're exploiting her. But I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's why they're talking to her.
Yeah.
So let's see. Here, this will play.
Uh, uh, we admit we outwardly said, I don't care if this chick gets better. I don't get my condemnation is more for the TMZs of the world. I would have no problem with TMZ if they went, look, we are a smear merchant site. We post videos of people chronically detached, like watching. That's our thing. That would be fine. But news organization that
Try to play this again.
BF Bobby Fran says the same reason you are showing Britney because you think people care.
No, we're doing it to mock.
We're doing it to make fun of it. We admit we're pieces of shit.
We outwardly said we don't care.
Yes, we outwardly said I don't care if this chick gets better. I don't get. My condemnation is more for the TMZs of the world. I would have no problem with TMZ if they went, look, we are a smear merchant site. We post videos of people that we think are fabulous of them.
All right. So I hopefully you heard that. That was a little choppy. Could you hear it at least, Stormee?
Yeah, I could hear the pieces of it, but I made sense of it just because I've seen it already. I don't know if people
exactly, yeah.
But
yeah,
it's kind of like a double-edged sword, kind of like on one end of the spectrum, they were saying they kind of cared about TMZ exploiting her, and then on the other end, they're saying they're, I don't know exactly, scumbags, I think is what they said, because they don't care about her getting better, so they're gonna, say what they wanted to say about her. So it's kind of like, what's the difference, really? But you're pointing out TMZ.
Yeah, that's what it. Yes, right. So that whole irony occurred to me, and I'm like, oh, I'll participate. I'll drop in a little comment here. So, big fans. I think he's saying steel toe. Great background, Stormee promo. Yes, that was Stormee's idea right there. She said, BF, I'm gonna take all these shows that we have on a list and talk about, and I'm gonna put them on a background behind me. And I thought this is a great visual for our universe and how crowded our minds probably are, because we try to keep up. We try to keep up with all these shows. So let's see. I'm on the same boat as you, Bobby, about Steel Toe. Yeah, bro. It's not that I hate them and everything, but I'm still reserving judgment on them. And like I told Stormee, it seemed like they were a little too eager to get involved with the whole Chad thing and the argument and DabbleCon. And then look what happened. Now they're not going to DabbleCon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going. I'm not sure exactly. There's different people that have different theories about it.
Yeah, so right. Like some people think they don't have money, but that was my whole thing. If they were truly invested in this DabbleCon, like Shuley and the guys are, I don't think they would be backing out of it unless it was like truly a personal thing. But this almost seemed like a business decision. Like, well, we kind of decided not to go. You figured if it was a personal thing, they would have just came right out and said it.
Yeah, after diving in and getting that involved and stuff, I would have thought they would have went. But I mean, sometimes you only see what's on screen. Maybe they have something going on in their personal life at the same time that they just don't want to share, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, they might, but like I said, I never really thought they had anything of value to add to the whole Stuttering John thing because as far as I know, they didn't have the same relationship as like Shuley and the guys had. So it almost seemed like they were trying to get the heat from all the other stuff that was going on. That was just my outside impression.
Yeah. From my understanding, they're close friends to Gino Bisconte too. So I don't know how that all ties into everything, but they're kind of friends with them, and then they've made friends with Shuley, from my understanding. So it might just be, connections and networking. Who knows?
Yeah. And it could come down to economics. Maybe there was no money offer to come there, and maybe they were like, hey, we're not going to pay just to go there for, promo, or we could just stay home. Because like Jerry says, they have a studio in their house. So, if you're comfy in your house in Minnesota,
yeah,
are you going to go to
one point they were talking about going to DabbleCon and having some like, I don't know, like boxing match with Chad Zumach or something.
Exactly. That's where I said that they were a little too eager to like get involved in this. And yeah, but Chad loves busting their balls about making their goal. And Chad Zumach's a whole nother topic. We can talk about him when we do a little MLC. But he's a piece in himself. Some people wouldn't mind seeing him get hit. He is just he just goes overboard. He was like actually like screaming in our headphones yesterday, like just yelling like cackling like a madman. And
he's screaming and I could hear it so loud it made my daughter freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry, still struggling with those issues with StreamYard, bro. If you weren't here at the beginning, I do have an Ethernet connection now. I'm wired up. But we're going to keep chasing these technical bugs out of here, these gremlins. How can I watch the show on YouTube? Can you watch but this show? If you want to watch this show on YouTube, you go to BF Bobby Fran. You just type in BF Bobby Fran, and you'll see the Armchair Comic channel. Let's see. Thank you for asking. Matter of fact, we'll do a nice little segue and we'll do a little promo. How about that?
There should be a tab that says live, and you'll just click on it, and you'll see the live shows.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, I will show you my page. We'll share screen right here, and I will show how the people watch this show. If you want to watch this show, and then my other stuff, type in BF Bobby Fran, and it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. You can subscribe for free. You go to the live at home page, live right there, and that's episode 3. That's what we're doing right now. And whether it be through the BF Bobby Fran page, if you could give that a subscription, please, or if you can watch it on the TGB Sportshead Podcast Facebook group. And I tried to throw it out there on Twitter, so there should be 3 sources out there today. So please check it out over there and give me a subscribe while you're there. Thank you.
When you're subscribing, if you hit that little bell that you see and you hit all, it'll cue you every time that channel goes live for anything to post anything.
Yes, that is correct. I will point that out there, right up there, right there. Of course, I don't have my own notifications on because I know when I'm doing it. All right, let's see. Yeah, if you go just this little bell right here, if you just fill it in and make it look white, and then it'll ask you if you want. Well, that's actually my notifications. Yeah. Yeah,
but on yours, it should give you options for if you want to watch, and you can click all for all the notifications.
Yes, thank you. That's how you do it. That's just how it's coming up on mine. And that is how you do it. All right.
It's the easiest way to keep track of all your shows because so many different podcasts can,
Yes. Yeah, sometimes it can really start going off. You'll get an MLC like right in the middle of the day. How about they did a spontaneous halftime show during that Chargers-Jaguars game on Saturday. Did you catch any of that?
Mm-hmm.
You and I and a couple of us, we always try to throw those links in the group page, let everybody know what's going on, because of course that wasn't planned. And I didn't do a show by myself. I contacted Levy, and even though Bob had a schedule of shows that night, Bob being the podcast monster that he is, and being a true friend of Kevin, sure enough, he jumped on there, and they did a podcast, a halftime show. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
1, 2. There you go. Okay.
Is that the one that Chad didn't show up for? Am I getting that one mixed?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is, because it was like they couldn't find the men, kept or whatever, and Kevin didn't want to do it by himself, so yeah, he was reaching out, and that's how he ended up doing it with Levy. Yes. StreamYard been acting a fool, Jasmine. Yeah, it is. I got that hardwire girl, and it's acting a fool. I know. Yeah.
If anybody has any other stream services, drop them in the comments. Maybe we can explore other options.
Yeah, Bobby Nick is our EP for TGB. Shout out. He's always on the technical tip as far as how we can broadcast on Rumble, and he's always looking for other sources. He did find another one, but he said it's a little more pricey than StreamYard. And then it's sad because once you get used to a StreamYard in a certain format, you don't want to necessarily adjust, right, and have to load all your stuff in that. I said, please send your YouTube link to watch the show. Hey, we got to put the link in.
I'll see if I can get it. I'll use my
I,
phone.
I have to watch the Facebook feed to see who that is. You come up as Facebook user in my StreamYard. Let's see. That's funny. Boxing Chad. Jerry says that's funny. Boxing Chad. He plays the fool.
It's Katie Kelly.
Hey, Katie. What's up? Shout out, Katie. Appreciate her. We saw her on TGB in the chat last night. And while we're talking about TGB last night, she was nice enough to say how much she enjoys the BF's internet. That's for part of the show, so we appreciate that. Appreciate a compliment. So we're glad you joined us this morning, Katie. She saw us last night on TGB. That's the show we do Mondays and Thursdays, 8:05. You can check us out there. Normally see me and Stormee and Scott Fitzpatrick, our boy Andrew, and all everybody. We got.
Yep.
Only the vid back was
before,
choppy. Was that Katie was what?
Katie was a guest, I think. You might have been on vacation, but she was a guest on TGB a couple times.
Yeah, she was once, and I think I was on a show once or twice with her. Yep. I remember Katie from being on the show. Yeah, she did a couple Saturday shows. Absolutely. Oh, let's see. Stormee just dropped it in there. Okay. So there's the YouTube link. If you're on Facebook, I guess that'll show up in that Facebook chat, and then then you can click that and watch it on YouTube. There you go. Hopefully that'll help. Thank you, Stormee. I appreciate that. All right. So I was talking about how Katie saw us last night on TGB for the internet show. Mm-hmm. Got a lot of fun last night. I think a lot of people enjoyed that episode. I think we were like 95, almost 100 views. Hey, look, got Katie checking in. She made. There you go. She says thanks. There we go. All right. Now we see your name, girl. Welcome.
Yeah.
Owen, Andrew, and the crew. You always got to see what Andrew's up to, right?
Yeah.
Never know what that boy's going to do.
No, he's very spontaneous with whatever he does.
Let's see. Part of our podcast today, we were talking about Gino Bisconte, and you were talking about how to know him, and if Gino, well, the goings on Kia, you can go right over here to compoundmedia.com. Nope. Page is not loading out right. Here it goes. This morning. You can see all the shows live over there. I like the dump in the afternoon with Steve and the boys, Garrett, and that leads into with Gino, and then eventually into the Anthony Acumia show. Hey, I was watching last week, Stormee, and when Kevin and Bob rated, I call it rating the compound, they do the Acumia show. And did you see that Bob did stick his head in a little bit at the end of In Hot Water with Gino? Did you see any of that? Or no? I don't know if you watched that as much as I do, right?
I don't watch that as much as you do. I subscribed at one point, and then I unsubscribed because there wasn't much going on to it, and there was just too much outside drama that didn't. It was all focused on that, so I kind of unsubscribed. But I might resubscribe.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's hard when you have, and it's worth it just for seeing Bob and Kevin going up there, the once a week, or at least it is for me so far. So for those of you who don't have it, and see, I understand that we had this conversation with Bobby Nick before, and that look at all these shows that we like behind us, and some of them you need a subscription to Patreon or other services to get, and it gets pricey. We did it once on TGB where Bobby Nick just added up all his subs, and he couldn't believe he had never itemized it before. Mm-hmm. So it's a slow creep. Before you know it, one sub every show you like these shows. Before you know it, you're putting out 5 to this one, 10 to that one, and it gets to be something. So for Compound Media, they went up there last week, and Bob Levy stuck his head into the studio during In Hot Water and said something to Gino about coming in or not, and he didn't come in. But Bob made a telling comment where he goes, because Gino Bisconte doesn't want me on his show no more. And I was like, oh shit. So he basically kind of scolded him, because that's the point I made last week, is that when Bob Levy used to go to Compound on Thursdays, he would go in early in the afternoon. He would be in the studio, in the booth with the dump show, the pre-show before In Hot Water. He would do that show. He would do In Hot Water. And then he would sit there through Kumia. He would basically do the whole day. And then after all this silliness went down with him, Bob having a disagreement, Bob stopped coming in and doing the whole day worth of show in there. And, you know, he said, I miss doing that. I miss like going in there and being there the whole time.
Now he's dove into the Shuli network and podcasting, kind of, as it seems like, substitution in a way, where he'd be there, you know, he's more so on, you know, YouTube or in these other StreamYard or streams and stuff for YouTube. It seems like more.
Yeah. And I know that, you know, Bob is a busy guy, and I think they're trying to make the most efficient use of his time. And I saw a comment yesterday where Shuli said something about he didn't want him doing like Ray DeVito show anymore.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? I was like, oh my God.
And then they brought Ray on to MLC yesterday, I think. Ray DeVito. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes, and that can be brutal. I mean, I'll pull that up. Yeah, so Ray DeVito was on there yesterday, and yeah, they're just basically kind of making these wisecracks in front of him, saying, "Shuli said I shouldn't do your show no more." I'm like, damn, man. But and he was cracking him about having for your 5 viewers or whatever. I was like, they were being brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, in his defense, it was like a midnight show or something that Ray DeVito had. They were talking about. I mean, it was a really late show. Only reason I knew about it was because my dad sent me a link.
Is that right? Yeah, I used to try to watch Ray DeVito because I know Bob would, out of favor for Ray DeVito, he would do that show a lot. And you know, and Ray's a nice guy, but I don't think he's like the biggest draw in Bob's universe. And I think, you know, Shuli and the guys that want to make the most efficient use of Bob's time, so they're kind of directing him away from that. So this is Misery Loves Company. This is Kevin Brennan. He also has a Patreon. I don't subscribe to the Patreon because like we were just discussing, you don't have to choose mine, and she picks and chooses hers, and we talk and we match and we compare notes, and we might share links every now and then. Yeah.
I've heard
you can check these out
on his Patreon that he airs on YouTube, so I never subscribed because I didn't want to get it for free and then pay for it. So I haven't ever subscribed to it, but if he airs it on YouTube and then takes it down and then puts it on Patreon, I don't know how he does it. So I'm trying to figure that out before I commit to another subscription.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, he does have some weird way of doing it where he'll do them live on they'll do them live on YouTube, and I'll watch them live. You know, we'll get the notifications, and you and I will share them. But then the minute that the show is over, they make it go private. The show goes away, and then it goes to Patreon or something. They have some kind of weird sequence they do, and I've heard people complain about this before. And let's see. The page I just shared, let me try to share that again. The Kevin Brennan YouTube page is that, yeah, you won't even see yesterday's show on there. Their most recent show on YouTube is from 7 days ago. So apparently they pull all these things off of YouTube after they do them live, and they get their super chats out of them. Then they put it up as some kind of exclusive content on Patreon. So, and I think I've heard Shuli kind of question that decision. It's weird, isn't it, compared to some of the other things we watch?
Yeah, if you want to hit the bell on that one, you should, because if you can catch that one live, you save your money that way.
That's Stormie's podcasting tip of the day. That's right. And I agree with that, because if it weren't for my notifications, I'm not going back on Patreon and going, oh, they did a live earlier this afternoon. Well, let me go to the Patreon live that I don't belong to because I already subscribed to too much and watch it. It's probably just going to go by the wayside. So that's a very good point. So you go to Kevin Brennan on YouTube and you hit that bell, the little Liberty Bell looking thing, like she said, and it'll give you those notifications, and you live for free before it goes to Patreon. It's one way of looking at it, right?
Yep, that might be his strategy, though.
Chad calls himself. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a strategy yet, or if it's just maximizing because they want the super chat money because they can do pretty good on the super chatting, and then but so what to see if it's something we want to watch. Chad calls himself the Mud Shark, getting down and dirty in the mud, bad boy, no kids, no fear. I know, and he was talking about like riding his bike, and I'm like, I hope you don't think that he's not going to catch a DUI on a bike because. What do you think about his sobriety?
I mean, I encourage it, but I don't know that it'll stick because I don't know his personal, situation, but from everything that's exposed online, it's definitely got to be a struggle for him. I know that they were making bets and talk about him drinking and kind of encouraging it on the last MLC, I think.
Okay.
Yesterday.
I should have put it a better way. What do you believe in sobriety?
I
don't believe that an alcoholic can just go cold turkey like that.
I don't think so either. I mean, I've never been an alcoholic. I used to smoke cigarettes and I was able to quit cold turkey, but it was also because I found out I was pregnant. So you have to have something really, really that makes you want to quit something. And I don't know that he has it.
Yeah, and I've been advocating. I keep putting in the chat that they need to send a home breathalyzer test in, and it'll put up the number right there. It'll put up so they can do it live on there. It won't take long, because like Shuli said, how are we verifying this? Is this like self-reporting bullshit? Because who's going to tell you? Oh yeah, I messed up.
Yeah, his energy was different yesterday on MLC than it was the couple episodes before too. So I don't know how you tell if someone's drinking or not, but he was definitely in a different mindset. It felt like yesterday, especially when he started yelling and almost blew my eardrums out.
Yeah, he did. Oh, I know. I think I said something to him like, what are you doing, you dick, or something. I think I called him a dick in the chat for doing that.
Like, thanks a lot. You made a baby cry.
Oh shit. Gino, originally from Delaware, formerly white collar. I mean, trying to get my goggles on. I don't like putting them on because they got a reflection. Gino, originally from Delaware, formerly white collar jobs. His salvation was finding Anthony Cumia and Compound Media. Yeah, Jerry, a lot of people say that. Let's see. Stern used to rail against banning certain guests who went on competing enemy shows, then turned around and did the same. Yeah, Jerry. Stern has got critical, as Brian says. Your comment. Hypocritical. Yes, hypocritical Stern. He is. Let's see. I tried to like Chad. Bro, he's not. Like he's like the punching bag. He's there to clown on. Your StreamYard connection is absolutely trash. And that's hardwired there, Brian Clowder. So I'm running out of options, bro. I have to keep working on it.
I think it's mostly when you go to pull up something. I mean, for the most part, I can hear you until then, but I think it's just when you go to pull
I hardly have.
Share.
And I used to preload my screens, but now I'm using bookmarks. I'm trying not to strain the computer or anything, but just having some issues I have to figure out. I'll keep working on it. But we appreciated your. I think it is, yeah, because I'm running out of things to correct. I was hoping and thought for sure that the Ethernet was going to solve a lot of these problems.
Yeah.
We did TGB last night, and I only had like one glitch then, so it just must have been the mix of connections yesterday.
Yeah, maybe it has to do with something with being the host too. I don't know because I don't know what all that has to do with StreamYard.
Yeah, I do think I clip a little more when I'm the host than when I'm a guest. Brian, painfully true. I'm sorry, guys. We try and put on a little show for you.
But the feedback's helpful for anybody that says that, though, so we can know what to correct at least.
Yeah.
Work on.
Yeah, it is. Well, we thank you for joining us. I reassure you, we are between every show. That's all I do. I'm like doing measurements and buying Ethernet cables, trying to figure this stuff out so y'all can enjoy being with us. Let me see. Yep. We'll have cold coffee with BF. I've been letting it sit. I've been talking so much.
Yeah. If anybody has suggestions, though, about anything to do with helping the stream, you can help us, by dropping it in the chat because we don't know everything, so it helps.
Nope, nobody knows everything. All right, let's see. What we got here? We talked about steel toe. We talked about compound. You guys definitely have a radio voice. All right. Well, thank you. Bad as the video's going, might have to turn into a radio show. Let's see. All right. Thanks for joining us, Katie. And for the 5-6 people that are hanging out, we appreciate you joining us on this little fun thing we like doing. We're just trying to get together and sip some coffee and talk about our favorite podcasts. Let's see. Good one there, Brian. Good one there, bro. I got a face for radio. That's a classic punchline. I know you couldn't resist that one. Let's see. All right. If you can still hear me out there. This is the Patreon. This is now the Shuley Show Network. Oh, you'll see. Shuley Network. Wow. He's got the Uncle Rico Show, the BS Show, Miserable Men, while it's loading up. Let's see. Went all black to me, trying back on again. Be back in a second. Okay. Let's try to do a refresh real quick. If I disappear, hang in there, people. We're going to do a little refresh. I'll refresh my browser. And we're back. Hi from Shayna. Hi, Shayna. How you doing? All right, well, let's see. Hopefully Stormee will join us in a minute. We apologize for these technical difficulties we are having this morning, people. Let's put StreamYard. I guess went all black on me, trying to sign back in 1 second. All right, well, we'll try to hang out for you. We appreciate the 6 people that are still watching live. We apologize for these technical difficulties. That we are always chasing these bugs. Hopefully this little refresh work. All right, so here you go. That was fast. So it's the Shuley Network over on Patreon. Hey, I hear a beep. I think that's Stormee coming back. So let's try to bring her back in and see if we got all these fresh connections going. What's up, doing?
I don't know what happened.
Just dumped you, huh?
Yeah, it just
dumped
went
it. Yeah,
black. And
I refreshed my browser when you... Wow. See, and that's on your end, too, so we're both having problems. There's Shayna checking in.
Hey, Shayna.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's weird.
Refresh music. Yeah. Need some... Yeah. A little fresh music there for you there, Jerry. All right, well, we're back. I'm glad everybody's still here. Everybody's still in the chat. Let's see if our little refresh worked. All right. So, yeah, I was talking about, we had our technical difficulties. I was talking about how the rebranded, this is the Patreon, the Shuley Network over there on Patreon, where you can find all these shows that we like. If you don't watch the free ones on YouTube, or you want a little more than what they offer on YouTube, you can check these out over here. Bob with the Reading Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. Let's see.
That is funny.
Here.
Well, in this I can go twice as high. Take a look in the book, Reading Rainbow. I swallow Is that a fucking kid's book? trends to know, and ways to grow. Reading, rainbow. Reading, rainbow. Reading, rainbow. I'm reading, I'm swimming, I'm a bat in the pool. Look at me go.
There you go. So that's the kind of stuff you can see over there. Them guys, so they just cut that up of all the different things they had. They tricked him into kind of saying those things broken down, didn't they?
Yep, that was pretty funny.
Remember they did that? They were like, some people were paying for super chats just to get him to say certain things. And then they put that all together and made that up. So that's the kind of antics you can see over there. The Shuley Network, morning, noon, night. You also refreshed. All right. Let's everybody refresh. We should have did 1 or 2 or 3. Everybody refresh now. Let's see. This day program is stressing me out from Sheena. Let's see. Bob is now.
The program she goes to or us?
Good point. Good point. Bob is now singing the song by himself around the house. Yeah, no doubt. I like it because he didn't even know what Reading a Rainbow was. Stern showed. Yeah, let's see. Put reading goggles on. Generated Bob. Backpack Crazies. Yeah, Jerry, you're right, bro. And that's how. So that is all of our connection. You know, I was a fan of Stern, as I know you were, Jerry. And then when Shuley left, I kind of followed him over to this podcasting thing, and he's gotten us all in. And Bob had already been in it, doing certain things with Rob Saul. So these guys had already been around, and it's fun to see that it kind of all come together, and they brought the Miserable Men back, and it's just been a lot of fun. And they're creating all these new shows. And so that's why we're all here. Let's see. All right.
Yeah. And they have a new Miserable Men member, too, from my understanding.
Okay, yeah, why don't you tell the people about that?
Earl, I'm trying to, Skakel? Is that how you say his last name?
Earl Skakel, that's right. Yeah, Earl Skakel, the comedian. It's funny. Shout out to Earl Skakel. We miss Mark Burns, you know. Did you think that was kind of sudden and out of nowhere about Mark Burns leaving the show? It was kind of just in passing they mentioned it.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand. I mean, the reasoning they gave was, you know, his personal life gets busy, and everybody's does. So I can understand where you kind of have to cut back, and you know, he's an entertainer on different levels and different platforms that he uses too, and then has his own job. I've heard he does maybe animal rescue or something.
Yeah, I think he's animal control or something.
Yeah, so he's busy, so I can understand where he has to reel it in sometimes, and I'm sure he'll come back eventually and visit if nothing else. But I think it was that would, good terms at least.
That would be nice. I mean, you talk about a guy who just loved comedy and loved laughing. A few times he would start just laughing. He had that infectious laugh. I mean, his laugh was so much he would have to turn that microphone off because he just couldn't control himself.
I know. I would laugh at his laugh. That's just it was funny.
Right. He does. He has that great, contagious, funny comedy laugh, and he was always great to pick out my comments, and I'd start to see him laughing, and I'm going to miss somebody like that was checking out my comments and laughing. So, you know, Skakel, you got to pick up your game.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. No, you know, his sense of humor and his generosity, laughing, letting us all be part of the show. That's right. Jerry says, Skakel Earl. Yep, Skakel Earl. That's right. Earl Skakel. Yeah, so now, since that Mark is gone, Earl Skakel has kind of just seamlessly kind of stepped in and been on the last couple of shows. What do you think about just seeing somebody like being new to the show and reacting to Lenny and that whole KB situation? That's pretty funny, ain't it?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think Earl fits in. I don't think that he's, you know, standing out in a bad way or anything, but he kind of makes the dynamic flow a little differently because we're so used to, you know, the other dynamic, but now you have him there, and Lenny's reaction to him to me is kind of funny.
Yeah, it is, and those are two ends of a spectrum because here you have them on trying to tell him how to talk to KB, and Lenny's got no game, and then Earl is like with the turbo game. He's like, "Come out to LA, I'll fly you out, KB, looking sexy, look at those boobs and all that stuff." I mean, He's
flapjacks.
flapjacks. Yeah, like how do you like? That's not the most word for like women's breast, is it? Flapjacks. I mean,
No,
like
I've never heard that in my life until now.
but I have heard it, but it's never been in a good connotation. It's always been because they don't look great, and
Pancakes are flat.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, you don't want any kind of flat or flappy connotation, and I don't think any woman would take that as a compliment. Like, hey, baby, I see you got some big flapjacks over there. Come on out to LA with me. It's like, so it's almost like Lenny has no game, and Earl almost I don't know what's going on there, but he was coming on strong and letting it be known that if Lenny doesn't step in, he wouldn't mind stepping in at all. So let's see. Rounds out LA West Coast comic. You like that? So you think it rounds out the group having a different guy in there?
Brings in some more, different kinds of humor, I think, too, because he's a roast comic from what I've heard them talk about.
Yeah, I saw him, and also with Tyler Morrison and a couple of the other guys on the Ric Flair roast. When Ric Flair had his his last match, and they had like a whole roast before that. Shuley did it. Shout out Shuley. They killed, like all of those guys killed in there. And Skakel was really good with that kind of dry delivery sense of humor and just slaying people. And also, he is funny, but we'll have to see how it ends up being a good fit for the Miserable Men show.
Yes.
Let's see. And when can we catch the Miserable Men show? They're doing a Miserable Men tonight on Patreon, right?
Yep, I believe so.
Yep. And sometimes they'll throw out a bonus show on YouTube. So like Shuley Network page and turn on those notifications. If they do any of these shows, the Uncle Ricos or anything, you'll get a couple of notifications for a couple different shows just by turning on the notifications for the Shuley Network.
Yep.
Because he does so many shows on there. So that is the best way to know where to find all these things.
Yes. And then they have their own, I think Shuley has his own Facebook page where they've started posting, those flyers now with the show times every day. And that kind of helps if you follow him on Facebook to kind of get those postings with the times.
Yeah, it does. I'll share it. Yeah, I had that up here earlier. We'll try to find that again real quick.
Yeah, no, it's the same one that you had earlier. So it does help, though, to have that, laid out every day.
Yeah, it's great, and it helps me actually with planning this show, Stormy, because I don't like to do I would never want to compete with them because that goes against what we're trying to do, and we're trying to talk about them. But it is hard to keep up with them because they have so many shows, and they have had a flexible schedule up to this point, but it does seem to be starting to follow an order the last couple of weeks, and that you're starting a rhythm.
Yeah, and they're going to be getting more shows too, from what I understand. Bob's going to have his own interview show. Whatever that's going to entail, I don't know. But
so here's what you were talking about, and this is today's schedule.
Yeah.
So you said the BS show's coming on 11 o'clock. So after this, whenever we wrap this show up, when we're having our fun this morning, I'm going to be sitting and chilling, and I'll reheat my coffee, and I'll watch some of the BS show and see what they bring. And the whole the Pete DiLorenzo thing. I mean, that they have with him and talk his interview with him against himself, and they're showing the two moving rat faces, and both faces are coming out. It's just funny. Like I said, and the man himself, that mullet is epic. Somebody said something about how do you cut it like that? I said you don't cut a mullet like that. That comes natural. It's like that. I think it's like cut it, hair cut. That's just how he rolls. Sports Brains. Let me see. Here we go. We'll keep these on. Sports Brains showheads must be spitting with playoffs, Super Bowl, and being fans of Shayna. Yep, we're always busy, Jerry. You're always in our chats, and we're always, whether we're talking about pods here during the day, or we do our specialty show on sports every Friday, 7:30 p.m. East, called The Sports Heads with my boy Andrew. And speaking of my boy Andrew, I saw during the BS show yesterday where someone asked in the chat if if they would check in with the old Shoes team. Now, when Shuley left the Stern Show and he was assembling his podcast, he had Andrew and certain other ones, Trey with sports, and they would be the Shoes team. So somebody asked yesterday about checking in. Can we check in with the Shoes team? I've been curious what Andrew is up to. Did you happen to see that shout out in that chat yesterday?
I didn't see that, but see, sometimes I put my headphones on and I'll be doing dishes or something else while I'm listening and not looking at the chat. So
that's another thing. Sometimes when we're doing that, and I think on a visual, I have to run wherever I'm at and run to my phone and go, and then try to get the screen to come on. So I know, I feel your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. And sometimes I do wonder what I'm missing visually about the show. So hopefully it's not only helped you, but it'll help some other people. And that, the chat came on and it said on there that I want to know kind of curious what Andrew is up to.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a guy named Aaron Brown. So shout out Aaron. Andrew's around, but here's the thing. Andrew, check in Andrew. So he was the only one that Shuley mentioned by name. So shout out Shuley. I would like to see our boy Andrew back on the Shuley Show podcast. Check in, do a little sports, because that's how we first come to know Andrew, was through Shuley.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think Andrew would like that too. I think he would like even just a conversation, even if he doesn't do anything else. I think he would like to just, make that connection. But that's just my opinion though.
Yeah, because that was the original connection, and that's how that's how Owen got to know him. That's how any of us got to know him. And then he went off with Owen and ended up doing TGB when Shuley decided he was only going to have them on once a month. I could see the crush on Andrew's face when he kind of announced that. You know those faces that Andrew makes, right? His tells when he kind of does this and he don't really say anything.
It wasn't the creepy face. It was
no, it wasn't. Not his normal creepy face. It was like the oh shit face, like and kind of playing it off and smiling. He kind of did one of those things.
I think he's trying to process what information he's getting when that happens, because he gets kind of, upset, but doesn't know how to react sometimes about stuff.
Yeah, you mean we're going to do it once a month? What do you mean? So I was happy to at least see him doing something on a regular basis with Owen, but I know he would love to be back on Shuley, his OG, where he got it from. How's your guys? Dave from Sheena. Hey, we're doing good, Sheena. We hope you're doing good too. Thanks to the 5 people that are still with us. It's 10:17 here on the East Coast. Just talking about coffee together with friends, seeing what everybody's up to. Like I said, we're here Tuesday because I had a personal thing I had to attend yesterday. We may attempt to do this on Mondays again, so we can kind of start the week off right. Stormee and I will have to discuss that, but I think it felt better last week out of the Monday, because it felt like we were getting on the horse. We were starting off the week, so we're only doing a special
Sunday to kind of prep, and kind of gives you that start of the week is just a better time, I think. But either way, it's fine with me.
Well, I'm glad you agree, because we were just going off a vibe here, and I hadn't talked about it with you previously. But yeah, I'm glad you feel the same way I do. That it did seem like when we do a Monday show, it like frames the week, because that's our podcasting week kind of starts with, at least with me, because I do TGB Monday, and then I do Rob Saul at Tuesday at 8:30, and then Fridays do Sports Heads, and so Thursday we do another TGB, Friday Sports Heads, and so on. So yeah. I think you're going to catch us probably next Monday at 10 o'clock, I think, because I think that'll fit in, because they typically like to do either the Blunder Years or Uncle Rico at 9, and then they'll do BS at 11, an hour of little podcast news and weather and information, just see how everybody's doing on a Monday. So look for us there. We'll blast it out there. What's this? The normal creepy / stone face of Andrew. Yeah. Right, bro. And so when he tried to play it up, he's like, yeah, I think we're only going to have you on once a month. And Andrew was like, okay, Shuley, I guess I go on that. Let's see. Monday wins here too. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for your input always. Thanks for blasting. We appreciate. Sometimes when you see people promoting their shows in the chats, people are like, get out of here with that stuff. But we're not the ones. It's our fans doing it, or our friends doing it, I should say, Jerry, our friends. Yeah. And so we appreciate that. Your check is in the mail. Let's see. So
I've got a note here. Did you catch on MLC? I think it was mentioned where I guess Kevin made a post on Twitter asking John Melendez to join him on his show, on his podcast. And I don't know if he meant it serious or if he was joking, but I guess John responded.
Yes, I did see this, and I thank you for bringing this up because you are filling the blanks that my brain is not doing right now. Yes, he put a post out there because I heard it mentioned in passing, or somebody probably put it in chat. I can't remember who originally said it, but someone suggested that Kevin should do counter programming with John during DabbleCon, during some of those goings on. And so, because I think they knew that would be appealing, like, okay, I'll go on that stuff. I think that has like a mental appeal, like you're kind of fighting back thing.
Yeah.
So I did see that. Thanks for reminding me of that. And I saw Kevin said, yeah, I reached out to him too. And I got to talking about money or something. He's like, I don't even know if I really even want him to do it or something like that. But I think he would be a fool. But Kevin was saying, like, I don't know whose toes I'm stepping on by doing that, which is a good point, because are they going to appreciate they're broadcasting different things on different days? So it might not be like one for one counter programming where if I'm going to watch John, then I'm not going to see DabbleCon. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, and I think
TGB's a family.
Bob Levy encouraged Kevin and said that it would be a good thing to have John on his show, but I don't know, what that entails or what'll happen with that.
Yeah, he did. He kind of he gave his blessing to it, more or less, because I could see at least Kevin was kind of thinking it through and being respectful and kind of like, I don't know, with everything they got going on. But that's another thing. What do you think about Chad constantly shitting on DabbleCon during MLC?
I feel like that might be a tad bit jealousy, but I don't know for sure.
You think? Right. Well, we know it's based on jealousy. I mean, that's fairly obvious. But my whole thing is that Shuli's a decent guy, and if you're decent with him, he will be decent with you. And he's trying to be decent with Chad. And I've heard him say on multiple shows recently, hey, I don't have a problem with Chad. Me and Chad are cool. I have a problem with him. But yet Chad is going hard on DabbleCon. And I said in the chat the other day, I'm like, look, dude, if you better stop with this shitting on DabbleCon, because right now Shuli's on your side. But if you keep shitting on DabbleCon and he's going to have all these guys there, eventually Shuli's going to turn on him and come back at him. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Chad made the comment too that he would be there even for $1,000. So, I mean, there again, you have like double standards. Like, is he really just wanting somebody to say,
definitely cheats on it or something like, right. He's like, yeah, Chuck E. Cheese sucks anyway. Fuck Chuck E. Cheese. He's definitely acting like that. And, if he don't turn it around soon, Shuli's not going to keep, taking it so well. And he's going to come back at Chad and basically tell him he's the piece of shit that he is. Let's see. Opie Radio shuns the radio wars now. Still has loyal fans and trolls, I guess. Shuns the... I'm not a big Opie guy. I guess you're still following him, Jerry. Opie Radio shuns the radio wars now. Still has. Yeah, that was crazy. I used to hear about the whole Opie and Anthony and when he was competing against Stern, because, Stern went for blood when he went into these markets. And so whoever the top guys were at the time, he would go against them. And so I know there was always, the bad talk against the Cumia and the Opie and Anthony kind of side of things. And that's what's funny, because Bob talks about that, how his wife, Gina, she was more a Opie and Anthony fan than a Stern fan, as to where Bob came out of the Stern universe. So even she's not terribly familiar with everything. Some of us are not very familiar with everything Opie and Anthony. But I think it's interesting how after those two worlds were so separated by that competition for so long, now that people are coming together like, oh, well, I never thought you were so bad anyway, and kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trolls, yes. Jerry meant trolls instead of trills. Chad creates problems. Yeah, and I know that's part of its charm. And Jerry, we know the dynamics of podcasting in that they have to have someone to root off of. Like Bob and Kevin couldn't just keep punching on each other. They need a punching bag, and that's the whole thing. Chad's not sure. We laughing at him or with him, and that's kind of that's kind of the role he plays. I guess he knows it and accepts it. And that's what was so funny yesterday and then they added Ray DeVito on MLC. So you had Chad and Ray DeVito, and like, so out of the two, I don't know if they were competing for the bottom or the favorite. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah, it was like they almost had two punching bags there. And Ray DeVito, I felt so bad for him because people were getting on him about his like bedroom, and they were asking to turn the camera around, and they're talking about how many fans that he doesn't have, and he's just, after a while you could just see he just like the wind was just taken out of his sails. He couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, they said he does good stand up. I've never seen it, but I mean, maybe he does, but at the same time.
And so that's interesting too, in that some people will ask Bob Levy, well, what about Chad and his stand up? And he'll say, I've heard him say this about a couple comedians. Well, I've never seen him live. Like maybe they've heard a couple lines, or Bob just gets a vibe when people in them necessarily seeing their live stuff. Because I've heard him make that comment. Well, I haven't really seen Chad's live stuff, but yeah, he's probably a guy. He's a funny guy, you know. So he kind of puts it out there like that. But I often wonder sometimes if Chad really knows his role. But him controlling the chats and the super chats is funny, because I see people saying that he's like deleting chats or that he has to put up the chats that are negative towards him. So that's always funny.
Yeah. I think that he was kind of on MLC yesterday. He kind of stayed on like a minute longer than everybody else. I don't know if he was looking in the comments at the chat because some of his enemies were in there, maybe. I don't know.
I saw that too. I left the feed on as well. And so I noticed that he drops his little shitty Chad Zumach YouTube link in the show sometime. I wonder if the guys know that. They probably don't even know that. They're probably like, what are you dropping that garbage in there for? And then, I saw him stay on a little longer, basically trying to get people to like stick around, and then maybe
dropped his plugs in there again one last time and was able to kind of, get his view on whatever was going on in the chat, maybe.
Yeah, and get shit on the last couple times.
Yeah. But I definitely noticed that. I don't know. I'm glad you did, because I didn't know if anybody else noticed that or stayed on that minute or two after.
I did notice that, because like you said, sometimes you're doing other things and all. And as I went to the phone, I'm like, this asshole's still on here live, and he's like talking to us. Like, what's he going to keep doing the show by himself or something?
Yep. That's one advantage for setting my phone down and just listening with my earpods, because I thought it was over, and then I was, oh, Chad's on.
Yeah, right. So I don't even know if they're doing that, but I think that's funny how like neither one of them can operate StreamYard. Like you're messing with StreamYard now. It's not the most difficult. It's mostly point and click, right? It's not too terrible, right?
Not that bad. I've kind of messed around with it now and kind of figured out how, it sets up and everything. I mean, there could be some technical stuff with like graphics, but I don't even think mess with that. It's just the basics of it, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're frozen.
Yeah, we're having little glitches right now again. Having a little glitch session.
Yep.
I'm not
it's
even
just
playing
randomly
anything.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my whole thing was I was trying to say in between glitches is remember my issue was the go live thing. Got to hit that go live button twice, right?
Yes.
That was like the hardest thing technically for me to figure out. So I thought it was funny. A couple weeks ago, they did that live stream, and Chad was like obliterated when he was still drinking off his ass, and they didn't know how to end the show. They couldn't get comments on and off the screen. And I can't believe that they would do a show like that to where they'd be left hanging, and they have they were essentially at the, control of Chad. Like who would do that on purpose? Let's see. Rob Saul Show. Chris Abels with Doug Nelson. Turn me on to the black hole world of Elisa Giordano. Jordana, excuse me.
That's a whole mess right now, from what I understand.
I saw some of that Andy Dick video that they played when she was sitting there like talking to him or something.
Yeah. Well, and then I learned on Steel Toe that Andy Dick was arrested again for public intoxication and failure to register. And he's not been out very long.
Christ, I wonder how many things he has to register as: sex offender, alcoholic.
You never know.
What? You talk about a guy that's had chances and is just daring to die, or maybe he's got a death wish. I don't know, but that guy is
drugs and alcohol is what took over. It seems like.
Yeah, and it's been no different. This has been since like the early days when you used to ETV and all that. I mean, it's really no different, and it's just gotten worse. And
yeah,
I don't know if people are facilitating this or something like these Elisas. I can't. What is it about people like that? I mean, she's an attractive woman. She could certainly draw other men. What is it? She has to like fix him and cure him thing. Like, I don't get the attraction to that.
I think she just uses them for publicity. I think it's to exploit and just get more followers and that kind of stuff. But that's my opinion. Other people think that she cares about him probably, but maybe she does, part of her. But I just feel like she uses, if you care about somebody, to expose those parts of their life like she has and not try to get them help, is not a good thing.
It's like when she dated Benji Bronk, one of the writers, the kind of heavy set little writer on the Stern show, and no one could believe that either. We were like, what do you like? Because it just seemed like, oil
staged or something. Like it was just.
It sure did. But the more that relationship lasted very long, and I know from being a Stern listener that they did have a serious relationship. It wasn't just to him. I'm sure she was happy to give him, but you could tell that she did genuinely care about him. And I think his insecurities led to them breaking up, because I think in the long run, even Benji didn't see himself with her. There was just some issue why they could never get together. But yeah, so she has this attraction to these damaged goods, if you will, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know. She definitely has her way of using social media to kind of point out different things, it seems like, to use it to her advantage that aren't necessarily good. But I don't know. Yeah,
and I was really surprised to go back and watch the clip of her and Bob. I watched a little snippet of getting into it about the swatting.
I don't like that.
It was. I'm glad that you've seen it that way, because I felt the same way too. It felt ugly. It felt dirty. I didn't like that Bob had to defend himself like that. I didn't like that Elisa was going at Bob like that, making him have to defend himself, like kind of talking about his career, this, and your podcast doesn't get viewers, that. And so if you put anybody on a corner, especially Bob Levy, he's going to come out. He's going to come out at you. And so that was unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's where I got intrigued by Steel Toe, because apparently they were swatted also by one of her followers or her or whoever orchestrated it. And that's kind of what turned me on to looking at, Steel Toe's show, because they kind of fell into that whole mix with the swatting.
Yeah, so I only knew I think we were watching Miserable Men, that Bob Levy for the one. And Bob literally got swatted by the police. And swatting is when someone calls the police to your house on a police call erroneously from another location in order just to try to cause harm in your life and just to disrupt your life for no other reason. And so apparently this happened to Steel Toe, because these overzealous Chad haters take it to that level, to that swatting level. And then all of a sudden...
Discord is what I was told. People that were in her Discord, Elisa Jordana's Discord, had something to do with it. But
yeah, it's tough because those shows have the more aggressive trolls. Anyone who likes Bob Levy really doesn't have like those overly aggressive, I'm going to mess with your life trolls. We mess with Bob directly and we make jokes to him. Nobody, I mean, when you go to that level, messing with people's personal lives, that's just shitty. That's just people shouldn't be doing that stuff.
That's somebody who has a vendetta to cause harm. That's not somebody just busting balls or, having fun. That's somebody who has a vendetta to actually try to harm somebody, whether it be, financially or just to cause them grief or problems. That's not good.
Yeah, and it's desperate. And it's like they can't win in any other way. And I noticed that from watching Steel Toe that, I know that their relationship has a history, and that apparently that's a newer relationship, and Aaron had a previous marriage. And I hear the terminology of April's a home wrecker and things of that nature. I hear, and then people troll their relationship very similar to how people troll like Brent and Caitlin, I think. they have this passion about it, like, oh, Aaron, you did this and you left your family and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it might be that same. I see Jerry in the comments saying "botter," troll. I think it might be that same person who was kind of doing that to their relationship. That also was involved in the swatting.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of tied in, I think, and trying to mess with somebody's relationship and stuff. That's not cool.
Yeah, I think it's levels. Like, these people get overly involved in people's lives, and when they don't listen to their opinion about you're a terrible person and all, and it's like they feel like they have to this swatting shit as a way to get at them and win. And it's just not. I mean, it's a waste of resources, and it's just not the level you want to be on when you're just talking and podcasting. Have a conversation, have a difference in opinion.
Yeah.
But don't do like that.
IP2, that's the network that Elisa Jordana is on. I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
So that's what she does her
Kermit and Friends?
It's like what is it called? In Real Life, IRL, where she kind of just walks around all day with a camera and just videos everything she does. So selfie stick. I don't get it.
Have you seen any of it? I haven't seen any
of that.
Bit,
just clips and different things. I haven't watched all of it, like all the way through, because she does it for hours and hours through the day.
Jesus.
So there's no way I could follow all of that.
Wow. Yeah, she is a character, but right, and I don't know if that was just accidental heat or if she got caught up in that on purpose. I don't know. I don't see her being motivated enough to swat people, but I do certainly see her being with people would have to SWAT though.
Yeah, I've heard the Steel Toe cast, Aaron and April, talk about it and talk about how maybe Botter or whoever this person is behind that name has been in trouble. So it would be kind of interesting to get their input on what exactly happened and how they got in trouble, and what for exactly.
Yeah, so that's crazy. That's just a whole nother level of stuff.
Oh yeah, but that's tied in somehow. It's crazy.
All right, let's go to my. All right, so it's 10:37 here on the East Coast. We're so it's almost might stick around to the top of the hour, and then we're gonna go check out the BS show. But in the meantime, let's do a little promo here. You can check out Stormee. All these graphics that you see behind us and the backdrop, all the backdrops, all the stuff you see is Stormee graphics. And what do you go? It's best SC. Owen does it better than me. He's got it. He's got it memorized.
There's a link on my Twitter. You can just go to the Twitter page.
There it is.
There it is.
Best-sc-creations.com. Check that out. And let's see. Matter of fact, I will show you some of that now. As a matter of fact, let's see. Put the ticker back up. Click this. Point that. Do that. Take that down. Okay. I'll show you. I'll give people a sample of what they will see when they go to SC Creations right here. You will see her portfolio. There's Stormee Chamberlain. You can get all her links there. YouTube links. Email, Twitter, poster merchandise, website. All of that stuff right there. This branding stuff and all the stuff you see there's her PayPal link. So when you click on that website that I gave you, you'll find all this stuff there. These are all her posters she made for Bob Levy, for Brendan Levy's Comedy Loft. You'll see that in there. See some links for Bob Levy. Have to update it for Coffee With, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'll have to post some new stuff on there pretty soon.
Yes.
I know that Levy's got a new show coming up too. I made a poster for. I'll have to post on there too.
So yeah, that's cool. We were talking about that last week because, and you've heard him say a couple times that, yeah, I brought the club back just to spite Gino, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he keeps hinting at it, and I noticed on Shuli's show, which I knew because I made the poster, but I noticed I wasn't going to announce it. That's not my place. But on the Shuli network, I noticed they started posting the Casey Ray's website again, and I was like, oh, he's going to announce it soon. So finally did. They're going to have that Casey Ray's Comedy Loft with Brennan and Levy.
Yeah, he's going to start it back up again. But I love that he's been open a couple times. And I know Gino's going to pick up on it, but he's going to say, oh, you just kept the club open because I gave you shit about it. But yeah, you can see that Bob is getting weary of actually like kind of being a club owner. And I think since the thought of doing the club owning with Kevin happened, I think the super chat has really turned into something that neither one of them expected.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just watching and being a viewer and watching everything people drop on the super chats. I mean, that's tempting to want to, pursue more of that than probably anything. You get to stay at home and just collect that.
They are lucky. They have some. Oh, right. And I think that's kind of what happened. I don't know if that took the wind out of the sails for the club, or they were like, hey, wait a minute, why are we busting our asses over here doing this when we're sitting at our houses basically pulling in? I don't know if it's comparable, but like you said, you see there's some donors in there that throw $100 down at a time, Stormee. I don't know how these people do this.
I don't either. But I know that if once it gets warmer outside, I feel, because I'm sure it's freezing there. I'm not 100%, but I know last time I checked it was pretty cold there. I'm sure that it'll get to the point where when it's warmer out, more people will get out and do more, and there might be more business in, the comedy shows.
That's a very good analysis of that, because yeah, you're right. People's habits, viewing habits, and lifestyle habits will change in the warm weather. We are in the heart of like the cold season in most of the United States. So you're right. He basically has a cold captive audience. But once summer happens and people are hitting the beaches and things like that, and they're spending money elsewhere, are they going to be so willing? That's a very good analysis, and I'm going to be looking for that as it goes on. Like when we watch these shows, as the weather gets warmer, it's like, whoa, are these guys pulling in that money? Are they getting the $100 things? So yeah, they might have to keep the comedy club thing going for that very reason. Stormee has some great shirts. Yes, she does. Yeah. Makes a lot of nice gear. If you have ideas, and even if you have a excuse me, you've done this for like some organizations and some things too, where you kind of help make out shirts and things like that, right?
Yep, I've done stuff even locally where I live at. People have asked me to do some stuff, and I've just kind of designed stuff and done it as I can, and it's been fun. I like it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like big run stuff. Like if you have an idea, like if you contact Stormee, she'll work with you, and she'll give you some kind of design ideas and say, hey, would you like this over this over that? And she'll narrow it down, and she can get stuff put on all kind of stuff for you. Get put on bottles, shirts.
Brian Potter, he's been a real big inspiration, and he's helped me with a lot of stuff, and I think he's gonna kind of help me with some designs and stuff coming up, and we're kind of teaming up on some projects, I think, too. So he's somebody to reach out to too for anything when we work together a little bit.
That's cool. Shout out Brian Cloud. He's a good friend. He was first one in the chat, I think, this morning. Let's see. Jerry says, I never got to see what happens in the club. He should do show. Yeah. Well, Jerry, Bob, I think between not being the most technically savvy person, and I think he has a theory too. He's more older school. His theory is if you give out the milk for free, why do you need the cow? Basically, I think it's kind of what he's thinking. His thing is he wanted to draw people there. I tend to lean more your way, dude. Like, because I went up there for the grand opening, and I do have those thoughts. Like, how many people are not seeing what I'm seeing right now, and how cool would it be just to put up a camera, or even if it was a one-shot camera, and just stream it out there and super chat, like put a price on it, bro. I think there is something to that if they work with the comedy and they put the super chatting together. I definitely think that there is a money-making opportunity there. It
doesn't have to be a free stream. He could still charge for it and get the money from it. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody approached him from that angle and said, yo, Bob, okay, yeah, true, it might discourage people from coming out, but if they're already not coming out, maybe this is a way to get the money from the people that choose not to come out. So I'm with Jerry. I hope that they kind of rethinks it and looks at it from a different angle. But I do believe in these days where he has this reach of people now that can't get to the club. I'm fortunate enough that I live hours, so but not everybody lives in a 2-hour drive, and I do think it would be a great option for people like that.
Yeah,
let's see.
It would take me 7-8 hours to get there, so by car. So I think that it would definitely benefit him, and I would pay for it.
There you go. So there's your first customer right there, Bob. So maybe hopefully I I don't know if this will get back to him, but maybe the notion will get back to him that, hey, maybe this is a way that you could, at least bring in some money, use the club. So it'll make it worth his while going there. Like if it can be like a combo of like doing the club and super chatting for, for lack of a better way of putting it at the same time.
It would be good. I think it would promote, people to come too and people that don't know about it. I mean, I think it would be all the way around good.
Yeah, I hope that he changes his I definitely hope he changes his mindset on that, because that would be interesting. But I think the minute you start saying video, I'm going to show something, he's like, no, because then people won't come out. But I think you have to use the kind of comparison maybe we're using, that you do it kind of pay-per-view style, you do it super chatty style,
Yeah, he's coming around with all of it though, being involved.
Maybe now that he's
network.
Yeah, sometimes I'm impressed where he's telling people about on StreamYard, just go here and click this and do that. I'm like, oh my God, Bob Levy technical support? Like, jeez.
He's learning.
Whether he wants to or not, he's learning.
You can't tell how much you know though, because then you'll be obligated to have a job doing some more. Or maybe that's the idea behind it.
That might be. That might be. All right. Well, let's see.
Okay.
Having laggy issues. All right.
Yeah.
I was going to load up stuff, but I think we're going to keep having issues loading up stuff this morning. So maybe we can just start putting a wrap on this. Do you have any more notes there or anything that we didn't go over? I'll go over my notes and you go over yours.
Okay, I'm looking here. We've got the Rob Saul shows tonight in Levy Land too. Last week Rob Saul's show was pretty interesting. Had to do a little bit with TGP drama, but
Yeah, I did kind of I know you guys felt a little bad for me being put on the spot about some of the goings on the show.
You have to kind of take the heat and the questions a little bit, but you're the only one there. But I think you handled it good.
Thank you. Yeah, you don't always know how you're coming off, and I try to always speak honestly, and hopefully that I don't piss nobody off by doing it. But I hope I don't upset people. But I hope I represent people properly, and I said things in a
you're
proper.
Not directly involved with some of the situations too. You just know, what's going on around you. You can only speak for what you know, and that's
yeah. Sometimes I'm just a viewer that happens to be on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just give it that out. Like you said, I'm not always directly involved with that, but that happens. But so the show plugs. Yeah, we're going to do that, Jerry. Okay. Yeah. If they will load up, I was going to try to do that, and we'll wrap up this thing so we can get out of here at 11 o'clock. I wanted to mention real quick that last week when Levy and Brendan raided the compound, Gino left his phone behind in the studio.
Ooh.
He's walking around looking for it. He couldn't find it. He leaves the studio. Anthony Cumia, he has a swipe pattern. Anthony Cumia gets the swipe pattern right, and they're on his phone. They got on it ended up biting him in the ass because they ended up seeing pictures of his junk. They went on there looking for pictures of Keanu, and they ended up seeing pictures of Gino like spread out on a bed. And then Barry Ribs is coming look.
That's where it come from. Then I was wondering what they were talking about on a different show.
There you go. I'm glad I filled that in for you and anybody else that might be watching. So that's what happened on Compound Media last week. They got a hold of Bisconti's phone. Cumia got in it live on the air, and then Levy goes and looks over his shoulder, and they're going, oh my God. And then Barry Ribs, that older comedian, he wants to go over Cumia's shoulder, and they're all horrified. But they all want to see it at the same time. So, but they're like, they kept going, which I never heard if he got mad about that. I never heard if there were any repercussions. I haven't seen any shows since then. But so we're going to have to see. So if you hear talk about, hey, those assholes were on my phone, or they were looking for pictures of Keanu and that's not right, or they saw pictures of my junk, it happened last week on Thursday on Compound Media on the Anthony Cumia show.
If they're looking for pictures, I think she kind of shares pictures of herself, openly anyways. So, I mean, you could find them that way.
Well, Kevin Brennan calls her Bonely fans, because she is kind of skinny. She could use a cheeseburger, but she is attractive and she's a fashion plate. She's very fashionable. So, she's always putting cute photos out there on Instagram. See, funny stuff. Yeah. So when they did that, I was dying, and so I'm like, this could blow up because Gino, how's he going to take it? Is he going to be pissed because somebody to his phone. He's better pattern, asshole, to get in your phone. You know, better security on your phone.
Yeah, or just leave your phone.
That was funny. I had that note left.
Not setting your phone down. That's a good idea there.
Yeah.
But I think I've covered everything that I took a note on. I think that there's been a lot going on, though, for sure.
There is. I have from the Miserable Man on Sunday, the wrestling story with Jim Cornette. Remember how they said Jim Cornette, that Aaron looks like Jim Cornette? I thought that was hilarious. If you are familiar with Jim Cornette from the early days of wrestling, he was the guy with glasses, the nerdy manager guy with the tennis racket. And Aaron, I'm like, I can't believe I never made that connection. Aaron does look like Jim Cornette, the old wrestling manager. And they were covering the Miss Universe contest and all those crazy costumes that they were wearing that looked like RuPaul produced the show.
Looked like a drag show.
It did, didn't it? When I put in the comments, I'm like, this looks like it was executive produced by RuPaul. I was like, yeah. So that was funny.
Yeah, I don't get that, but I never really follow, all the Miss Universe.
Did you see that eventually did get taken down? I think it got pulled down.
Oh, really?
I think it was episode 89. I know they did the FaceTime while cheating thing where the black guy was on there. He said, "Oh, you think of someone," and then he jumped on the girl that he was cheating with live on FaceTime.
Oh yeah,
that was funny.
That was.
And then they also did the story, which I had seen already, about the robot getting jacked up in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
I knew. Yeah, that's a world issue. It makes it to the United States, and it only lasts for a matter of days.
Mm-hmm.
So that was funny. Yep. That was it. So that was it. All right. Well, we're going to try to wrap up the show. We appreciate you sticking with us through these technical difficulties that we're having today. Please keep coming back and trying, as we will keep coming back and trying to improve them for you to make the show better for you. This is Morning Coffee Pod with Stormee, with BF and Stormee. And I think we got all our notes done, and we're getting ready for the rest of our podcast day. We're going to go watch the BS show. And
it's titled "Shuli Responds to Stuttering John." I just got a notification.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So maybe it'll have some juicy information.
Yeah, because Shuli made a good point last night talking about, because John's putting out things that Shuli pay me or Shuli give me money. He says, hey, I want you to go on some of these other things and say, Shuli give me money,
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what Shuli's response is at the top of the hour on the BS show.
Yeah.
With Shuli Agar. All right. Okay. Sure I got the right track? Yes, I do. All right, with that, we appreciate you sticking with us through the technical difficulties. We hope you enjoyed this episode 3 of Coffee with BF and Stormee. Check us out next Monday, probably 10 a.m. Eastern Time, for episode 4 of the Morning Coffee Pod with BF and Stormee. Enjoy the rest of your podcast week. Catch us Thursday at 8:05 on the next TGB. I'll see you tonight at 8:30 on the Rob Soul Show. So for Stormee and for everybody else, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time we see you. Peace and love. We are out of here. Some of these comments up. Oh, when your friends become enemies with your... Yeah. Great show. Glitchy goodness. See you soon. Yep, we'll see you in the chat over there, Jerry. Peace and love. And we're out.